This conversation is part of the Journey series by ACE, a cross-border boutique investment bank centered around a global investor business owner network. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something really critical if you're looking for investment. We're focusing on the common pitfalls, the big mistakes companies make when they approach investors, stuff that's honestly pretty avoidable. We've looked at a bunch of sources, and it's clear that even companies with great potential can stumble here. So our mission is to help you sidestep these issues.
Yeah, and it really comes down to perspective, doesn't it? Understanding how the investor thinks. Because, this isn't just about getting a check, it's about building a relationship, often a long-term one. So starting off right with trust and clarity, that's absolutely key.
Okay, let's unpack the first big one. It sounds almost, well, too simple, maybe. A lack of transparency. I mean, obviously you shouldn't hide things, right? But it seems like this is where a lot of folks get tripped up.
It really is. And it's foundational, this idea of trust. It can get eroded so quickly if information is held back, even small things. See, investors, they perform what's called due diligence, DD. It's intense.
Intense. How?
Well, they often hire special advisors, finance people, lawyers, tax experts, sometimes even industry specialists. Their whole job is to check everything you give them, commercial stuff, financials, legal docs, tax records, against your actual records.
So they're basically verifying every single claim.
Exactly. They match it all up. And this isn't just at the start, by the way. Transparency matters right from the first hello, through all the back and forth negotiations, and honestly, throughout the whole time they're invested.
Right. So maybe it's not always deliberate hiding. What kind of subtle things trip people up?
Often it's not deliberate, no. It might be being overly optimistic with projections without showing the what-ifs, or maybe downplaying competitors, or glossing over a potential legal issue, like a small lawsuit pending.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's even internal stuff, like maybe a key team member just left. Investors want the full picture, warts and all. They need to understand the risks.
Okay, that makes sense. So for you listening, why is this so critical, beyond just getting the deal done, I mean?
Well, it's about your credibility, isn't it? If they find something later that you didn't disclose, even if it wasn't intentional, poof, the trust is damaged. Maybe not fatally, but it puts a strain on the relationship right away. It can lead to retrading the deal or worse. A transparent start just builds a much stronger foundation for the long haul.
Right, a healthier relationship from day one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the second mistake. This one feels, I don't know, more about preparation. Poor business plan and information requirements.
Yes, exactly. This is about having your ducks in a row before you even approach an investor.
So what does that actually mean? Not just having any plan, right?
Right. It means having a plan that clearly shows how their investment is going to grow. Not just how your company grows, but what the return for them looks like.
Okay, so making that connection explicit. And what about the information side? You mentioned documents.
Yeah, the essentials. You absolutely need things like audited financials, proper legal documents, all organized, and a really comprehensive investment memorandum, an IM.
An IM, so that's like the main pitch document.
Sort of, but much deeper. It's the whole story. Your market, your team, your product, detailed financials past and future, your competition, and crucially, the deal itself. How much you need, what you'll use it for. Investors use all this to really gauge your past, your present, and your potential future, plus all the legal and tax angles.
And the sources say companies mess this up often, even good ones.
Sadly, yes. One source specifically mentions many good companies with great potential are rejected at the early stage due to poor preparation of information requirements.
Wow, so it's not the idea, it's the presentation.
Often, yeah. Maybe the financial model is too basic, or the market analysis is vague, or they just haven't clearly linked the funding to the specific growth milestones that generate the return. How you deliver this info quickly, accurately, it's described as a key and dynamic process. It really sets the tone.
It's like a test of your professionalism right from the start.
Exactly. It's your first big impression. These documents aren't just hoops to jump through. They're how you build confidence. They show you're serious and you respect their process.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, mistake number 3. This one's about rhythm and expectations. Not trusting the process, either rushing it or waiting too long. Let's tackle the rushing part first. It seems like a common dream, right? Great first meeting, money in the bank next week.
Yeah. If only. The sources are really clear. Do not expect investors to transfer funds after the first meeting. It sounds basic, but the excitement can make you impatient.
So what does the actual process look like with, serious investors?
It's gradual, progressive, lots of information exchange, key milestones. It takes time. Think months, not weeks. There's the initial chat, maybe an NDA, then deeper dives, questions, providing initial docs, then maybe negotiating a term sheet that's like a preliminary agreement.
Yeah.
Then comes the really deep due diligence we talked about with all the advisors.
Yeah.
That alone can take weeks.
Weeks for the DD part. Okay.
Easily. Then drafting final legal docs, and only then the closing and the actual wire transfer. It's a long-term step for all parties, as one source puts it.
So trying to rush that signals.
Well,
What, impatience? Desperation?
Yeah, maybe both. Or just a lack of understanding of how this world works. It can be a red flag for investors.
Got it. But then there's the other side, not waiting too long, right? Getting strung along.
Absolutely critical. Time is your most valuable resource as a founder. You need to watch for signs of, well, unserious investors.
What are those signs?
The sources mention things like investors who aren't proactive. You're always chasing them. Or they don't seem to increase their commitment as things move forward. They keep asking for more info but don't signal stronger interest. Or they just take forever, missing deadlines, delaying meetings.
So if they're dragging their feet.
Yeah, if you're doing all the work and they're passive or vague about next steps, that's a bad sign. They might just be kicking tires, or maybe they're just not that into your specific company.
So the advice is pretty blunt. Do not waste time and search for active investors.
Exactly. You need to learn to tell the difference between genuine, careful diligence and just indecision or lack of real interest.
How do you manage that then?
Be polite but direct. Ask about their process and typical timeline up front. Have your own sense of reasonable timing for responses and next steps. If they consistently miss those without good reason, it might be time to, focus your energy elsewhere. Serious investors show their commitment through engagement.
Okay, so let's pull this all together. What does it all mean for someone listening? It feels like it boils down to maybe three main things. First, just be totally transparent. Radically honest, maybe?
Yep, absolute transparency.
Second, do your homework meticulously. Get those core documents, the plan, the financials, the IM, really tight and investor focused.
Meticulous preparation, definitely.
And third, understand the timeline. Don't rush it, but also don't let yourself get dragged along indefinitely. Be realistic.
A realistic understanding of the process. Spot on. And these aren't separate points, are they? They're all linked. They build on each other. It's all about establishing your professionalism, your reliability, your trustworthiness. It's about building that solid foundation for what you hope will be a long, successful partnership. You're not just getting cash, you're getting a partner.
That's a great way to frame it. So a final thought for everyone listening. Think about how you're approaching investors now, or how you plan to. How could focusing on these three things, transparency, preparation, and realistic timing, change your strategy? What's maybe one concrete thing you could adjust right now? Lots to think about there. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.